So here we are. This is Kelly, June 6th, and I wanted to give you a little video of what's blooming. I haven't made a video for over a month, so lots of things blooming, and then lots of things not blooming. So yeah, this is the front of the house. I just bought this bench yesterday from a friend. Thank you, friend. You know who you are. I love it. So here's my new planters here. I stopped by the Ace Hardware in Gridley yesterday. We got a few more Proven Winners flowers. This is a whiteout here, verbena, super verbena whiteout, and jazzberry, I believe. I think it is a jazzberry. Proven Winners. Oh yeah, Super Tunia Vista jazzberry. So I gotta plant those. And then this plant here, my dad bought. It's really pretty. It's like a hibiscus, I think, or a rock rose, something like that. But it started out really small, and it likes it in this area. And it's been blooming for a couple months now, ever since we planted it. It's pretty. It likes the spot. It gets real hot afternoon sun. Right now it's shady. These are two bushes that I just keep trimmed in like a cone, like a Christmas tree. They need to be trimmed up right now, but they're getting ready to bloom, and they've got really pretty little purple flowers when they bloom. And this is our rose bush here. It's a standard. I think it's called Playboy, and it's in between blooms right now. It's got one little bloom on the back there, but it's gonna bloom. It blooms all the time. See all the blooms on it here. And then here's my hibiscus. It's a standard too. It's pretty. It's been blooming. We didn't have a real cold winter, so the blooms have lasted throughout. It seems like it never stopped blooming this year. It's pretty. And then I'm not sure what that's called. It's a bulb, I believe. And then California poppies here blooming. And then this is our butterfly bush. Should have all kinds of butterflies on it this year. It's another one that didn't die back in the winter time. Stayed blooms, and we had monarch butterflies in the springtime, which we've never had before. Caterpillars, and then they're disappeared right now, and so they'll be back probably pretty soon. I see them flying around quite often. So yeah, so these are just some seeds that my dad planted in here. They're blooming though. More California poppies. And over here is my smoke bush. They're blooming. I have 3 of them planted here. And what I did is I planted some boxwoods, kind of formalize it, and some little pretty little urns in the middle there. And so yeah, I have 2 of those. I have 3 smoke bushes, and this one I don't think it gets a lot of sun, so it's staying smaller. But these 2 are absolutely crazy. They're almost touching now, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to eventually have a solid, like a solid hedge of smoke bush. It's really pretty when the sun hits it. And they bloom. It looks like they're smoky, like fire on the tips of them. Blooms. Here's my other hedge of boxwoods. I planted those when they were really little. I started them off my other boxwoods, and it took forever. I don't think I'm going to do that again, because it takes too long to grow them. But they're pretty now. And then going down here, my dad amarilla bulbs. They're so pretty. He loves them. He's got a bunch planted. He plants them in pots. and then puts them out when they're blooming. And then these are his rose bushes. This rose right here is a beautiful rose here. I'm not sure what kind of rose it is, but I love the color of it. So pretty. And this one here, see how the pretty color, it mixed in with the whites. And we have another pink one here. It's kind of done, not blooming right now. And there's a red one. And then the cover here. My dad's gonna go get the mail. My lantana, my Sega palm. And then we have a really pretty crepe myrtle getting ready to bloom here. When it gets hot, it starts doing really good. And so it's got all kinds of blooms and getting ready to bloom here. Let me go in here. This is another butterfly bush here. And it's probably gonna get tons of monarchs on it this year. I counted at one time, we had 15 monarch caterpillars on this bush. It died back, but it came back. So it's gonna probably, hopefully do the same this year. They lay their caterpillars and they eat them all. This bush gets eaten up and then they turn into monarch butterflies. It's so fun to watch. And that's our lantana, purple lantana. It's going crazy. And this is catmint here. But I don't really cut back. I cut back in the winter time when it dies back, but then I just let it go all spring and summer because the bees absolutely love it. Bumblebees come in groves. See, there's one right there. I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm trying to get in closer. Anyways, at certain times, sometimes there's probably, I don't know, 10 to 20 bumblebees on it, so it's fun. And then this is our crepe myrtle here. This is always the last tree to bloom. It's a pretty purple. Doesn't even have any blooms on it right now, and it's June 6th. So this bush here is called a hebe. And oh my goodness, it's even not as pretty as it was, but man, when it started blooming, it just glowed. These little purple flowers everywhere. And my dad planted it, brought it home one day and planted it there. And it likes that spot. And then there's another Sega palm I got from my neighbor Rita. And then this is another crepe myrtle. It's called Black Diamond. And it looks like it's getting ready to have blooms starting on it. It's another one that's late blooming. It's like a deep red when it blooms. And then we got California poppies in here and some grass, ruby red grass. It gets these real pretty little things on it here, the little plumes on it, and pretty pink. And then they turn to white when they go over. I guess that's why they call it ruby. But I got this a start from Paradise Nursery that's not there anymore because we all know what happened to Paradise, and I'm still sad about it. My son and daughter moved there, and they hadn't even been there probably 2 months when the fire happened in Paradise. So anyways, but that's one of the plants that I got there, and I just kind of separate it sometimes and keep it going. Some daylilies, red, some more California poppies there. And let's walk up here. This is the front of the house here. I planted these real pretty. They look purple now. They looked blue when I bought them, but they're wave petunias. I always liked the wave petunias planted under this big oak tree in our front yard. This beautiful oak tree. And so yeah, those are really pretty this year. I usually plant the bright pink ones, but this year I found those. Love them. And these are Oral Day lilies here. They're not blooming anymore. They're real pretty in the springtime though. And that is a geranium. And I love the color. It's not pink, it's coral, like a coral color. So when I do flower arrangements, sometimes I can't use those because they don't really go with anything. But I just love the color of them. And then this is our forest pansy red bud. And it's beautiful. I love it. I think it's my favorite tree. So we'll walk over here. And here is my Australian mint bush. And it doesn't look like much now, but in the springtime, last time I did a video, it was glowing pink. It's beautiful in the springtime. But in the summertime, it's just a little green bush there. I'm not sure what these guys are called. I have 3 little bushes here. And they get these real pretty yellow flowers on them. They look almost like a little daisy kind of flower, but they get loaded with flowers. And this is a tiger tail, and it gets real pretty orange and red blooms on them, and they look like a tiger tail. That's a phlox there. And it hasn't bloomed yet, but it's getting ready to bloom. And then this is a rock rose here, and it's going over. It's still blooming, but it's going past its time to bloom. And then I got some more of the wave petunias here, the purple or blue, and then vincas. Those are my extra vincas that I planted in there. The deer do not eat vincas, so every year I buy vincas and plant them in the front. I'll show you that in a minute. This is my little perennial planting bed here. And then this is a real pretty red and orange lantana. Not sure what kind it's called, but it's red and orange. And then I made a little topiary tree, the standard out of it. It comes up. I think it's pretty. I think it's cute. And then that's a iceberg rose in there. And that is a barberry, rocket barberry. And then some yellow yarrow. Some more purple lantana. And this is a tea, and it gets real pretty, like bright pink blooms on it. Penstemon, that's going past. It's not blooming hardly anymore. Let's see, those are geraniums, and I'm not sure what kind they are. I got them from my uncle, and I'm thinking they're Roseanne. I'm not even too sure about that. And then some red geranium, and back behind it is agapanthus. They've got their bloom starting. One of them actually is opening. I'll show you about this one's getting ready to pop open there. It's going to be pretty. They get so heavy though, they fall over, so sometimes I have to stake them. Most of the times I do have to. This is our lilac tree. It's getting no more blooms on it because its time to shine is in the springtime, so it's past that. Then here, gladiolas. The ones behind it are done blooming. They were bright red. These are almost like a orangey color, but they're so pretty right now, and we have to tie them up because they fall over too. And then these are the vincas I told you. So we had I planted them, and we had a really bad ice storm, and it kind of slowed them up. So I'm having to be patient because they're not growing very fast. And then our butterfly bush here, it likes the spot, and it's crazy. I cut this thing all the way back down to the ground, and it's like already, I don't know, I'm 5. Look at the bumblebee up in there, that big black one there. I don't know if you can see it. Pretty cool. But I am 5'3", and it's past so it's probably 5'5", gonna be 6 foot tall already. And there's the red vincas, my extra ones that I had planted. This is Russian sage. I have 2 bushes. I have this bush, and I have that one back there in the corner. That one, this one's newer. I planted it last year, but that one's been there for like 3 years, and it blooms every year. And then this is my sunshine ligustrum. And then some ground cover here. And then let me go over here and show you a shot from this way. There's some tiger lilies, I believe. They're in a pot, and they get really big. So my phone overheats, so I had to like let it cool down for a minute. But I'm back to the same spot I ended the last video. So here is some daylilies, and they're really pretty peach, and then there's 2 on the end that are peach, and then the other one's yellow. And this is my happy birthday rock my dad bought me when a couple years ago, I think it was. Anyways, that's my happy birthday rock. And then this is a weeping juniper here, and you can shape it up, and I need to shape it up a little bit more, get some more stakes on it and shape it up, let it grow some pretty shapes on it. So here is the front yard from the street here. I don't know if you can see it. The sun's kind of, but I have boxwoods planted, and in between the boxwoods I have barberries. And then over here, my front planter, that is my redbud tree. And I have some daylilies. One of them's red and one of them's yellow. You can see them. And this is my wisteria tree. It just fell over, and we have to go ahead and trim it, or put some stakes underneath it and get it to get straight up and down again, or I might just have to trim it up. The barberry, and this right here, this sad thing, is a ornamental peach tree, and the deer wiped it out, so it's looking pretty bad right now. Some more daylilies here, some poppies, California poppies. My dad just throws seeds in there, and those are carnations. And is a real pretty sage. I'm not too sure exactly what kind of sage it is. It gets real pretty yellow, bright yellow blooms on it, and it's not blooming right now, but it's still pretty. This is the new growth on it here. I have some ground cover in here, the bright pink. There's some purple lantana, and over here is the another rock rose that I started from cutting from my other rock rose. So it's super easy to start. And that is a lily of the valley, agapantha. It's getting ready to bloom. And that is a hollyhock. It's got really pretty red blooms on it. Starts blooming from the bottom and then it ends up blooming at the top. So yeah, that's pretty. I'm gonna pause it and I'm gonna go back to the side yard and finish the video. Okay, so this is a shot of my side yard here. There's some red geraniums, some ferns back there. It's my big cottonwood tree. I have a love-hate relationship with this tree. I love the shade, but it makes a mess and it's really dangerous because it drops a lot of big branches. So yeah. And then, so this is our side yard here. A couple days ago, this amarula was beautiful. I wish I would have got a shot of it, but it's past its prime now. So I have some boxwoods planted in here. And I can't remember what these are called off, but they get real pretty blooms on them, kind of like a fluorescent red bloom on it. Can't remember what they're called. Okay. Japanese maple, it's a blood good. It blooms. My hostas. Azaleas back there in that pot back there. And that's a rhododendron my dad just planted in that pot. Okay. So this is across here, the side yard here. Let me go ahead and walk back here and give you a shot of the gazebo back here. It's one of my favorite views. I love the oak trees and there's a pond off to the left. I'll show you. I just think it's so pretty in the background. The big pine trees. And then over here, I'm not sure exactly what this bush is, but I know it blooms in December and it's called Noel. And it just kind of looks like a feathery, kind of like a evergreen bush tree. I use it a lot in flower arrangements because it's got these real pretty, and they just kind of go over the vases and stuff. So they kind of just droop. It's pretty. Mandevilla. Doesn't look good right now, but it's getting all kinds of blooms. And our other mandevilla up here. It's good. I love this when it blooms up on this arbor. It's pretty. It's got the purple lantana in that also, mixed with the mandevilla. And here is a lace cap hydrangea. I've had this for a few years. Blooms every year, pretty. A hosta and fern and some bougainvillea, but not bougainvillea. Gets the pretty blooms on it. Can't remember what that's called right now. Okay. African daisies. I need to trim some back, cut some out. Alrighty. Now this is supposed to be a succulent planter, and it has a purple lantana that took over, and it still has like the, what do you call this bush? Jade. This is a jade here, and this is absolutely crazy. It's taken over. And so I'm just gonna, one of these days, I'm gonna go back and I'm just gonna take everything out and start all over and do a really pretty succulent planter in here. So that's the plan. Foxtail fern that I have planted in around a little bird, a water for the birds. And then pretty geranium, variegated geranium. Getting, well, no, I don't see any blooms on it yet, but it blooms real pretty red. These are the white geraniums in there. And then behind that, planted in there, is a bird of paradise. And that thing is huge now, because my dad built this big box for it, and I don't know, it's probably about 3 foot tall and wide, and so, because it outgrew its planter, so now here it is in that planter. So this is another purple lantana. You can tell I like purple lantana. I have it planted everywhere. These are some lupines that I started this year, some seed. So hopefully next year they'll bloom. Some, what do you call that? I can't remember the name of that right now. Elephant ears, some more red geranium. This stuff is so easy to start. I just pull it off that main plant and stick it in the ground and it grows. So that's how easy it is to grow. And this is our pond, our fish pond. There's actually fish in there. I don't know. You can see some kind of orange in there. They started out as little tiny Walmart 25-cent or 10-cent fish, and they're huge now. We have one koi in there too, though. And then there's some phlox, some grass behind it, and some succulent that found its way in there, and I left it. It wants to grow in there, so I left it in there. And this plant, I can't remember what it's called, but it gets real pretty big purple flowers, and they smell okay. I mean, they have a strong scent to them, so, but yeah, it's real pretty. Can't wait for those to bloom. Alrighty. Coneflowers in here. They've come back this year again. Some petunias that grow every year. I just cut them back after they're done. This is the 3rd year they come back. They're so pretty. I love the color. It's like candy canes. Yellow and pink candy canes. And then this one gets a real pretty white bloom on it. remember what that's called. Okay. Now I want to go, let's see. I have some boxwoods planted in these big planters here. And this has got to come out. This has got to come out. It's done. It's dying, so I need to remove that. There's that. It's pretty, but it dies back. This is a lemon tree that my friend gave me, and it's got all kinds of lemons on it this year. Last year it had about, I don't know, 12, and it was a tiny little plant, but this year I replanted it, and now it's got all kinds of lemons. Ostemaria, some petunias. These are super cow petunias that I got at Home Depot. This is a succulent here, and I got it, and I believe, I can't remember where I bought it, but I still have the tag on it, and it's called Red Mountain Evergreen, deer, drought, and fire resistant. But it's pretty when it blooms. And then that is a hibiscus. It's white, and I keep it as a standard. And then some of them are those super cow petunias. And then some more there. You can tell I love petunias. So from the first couple of years that I moved here, I couldn't understand why my petunias wouldn't grow. And I found out from watching a plant show, and garden show, that there's a thing called budworms. And I never even heard of budworms, and then I figured out that's what's going on with my petunias. So I bought some of that what's called Captain Jack bug killer, and I spray on it probably once a week, if that, and it keeps those budworms, and now I can grow beautiful petunias. They don't bother my petunias. See, these are these big planters here. I have Super Bell or Super Vista bubble gum, and then these are the bubble gum, the light ones, and these are the Super Cow pink. So I have a couple of different mixtures there, and it's so pretty. These grow every year. This is the third year these come back. And this is my batch of snapdragons, and they were absolutely beautiful. Now they're they're sad looking now. I need to cut them back, but they were absolutely gorgeous. And I wanted to show you this bush. This is called a showy milkweed. And I've been wanting to grow milkweed because of the butterflies. I haven't seen any butterflies on it, but lots of bees, and we just noticed that there's all kinds of eggs though. Something laid a bunch of eggs on the back of them. I don't know if you can see that or not. They're white little eggs. So I'm hoping it's butterfly eggs. We'll see. And this is, I started from seed. Anise, I think it's called. And it's got those real pretty purple blooms on it. And it's pollinators, for the pollinators. And then my dad planted some of the gladiolas in here. And then these are dahlias that I planted last year. They're coming back. And then I planted some peonies, and they're not blooming this year, so it's going to probably be a few years before they bloom. And I have a row of boxwoods planted there, just to give it a little formality in here. And a bunch of different pots over here. Oh, I got to show you the pond. My dad just got it back up running. Isn't it pretty? More petunias. But yeah, I don't know if you can see it. We have found this log. We brought it home, and it fits perfectly across the pond there. And that is the bamboo. And then I think I showed you last time the pool. And we have our deck done. So now, oh, it feels so good. I'm going swimming later. Now we've got our deck done on the pool, and it's been so nice. But yeah. These are holly bushes here, holly trees that I just have in pots. And a boxwoods, some grass. And then I have some mandevilla planted on this also. And it's blooming, it's getting ready. It's gonna be beautiful. It's loaded with blooms this year. And I can't remember what these little pink ones are called, but I absolutely love them. Can't believe I still have them though. The deer like to nibble on them. Last year they wiped them out. So yeah. And then my wisteria is in this pot. Here's another, the hydrangea that I've started from my other hydrangea, believe it or not, and it's super pretty. It likes that spot, I guess. It's just in a pot.